They probably all migrated over here or just got choked out. I was expecting one coral and we got like 3 containers full. We got this guy right here. Flow seems to work for most things in this tank. Today's mission is to rescue the Christmas tree worm rock that has been completely, well, almost completely overgrown by the Rasta Zoas. 2 months ago, it was only halfway, and as you can see right now, it's pretty much overgrowing the whole piece of rock if I don't do anything about it. So today I'm gonna try to shave off some of these Rasta Zoas. I want to cut it almost all the way back. Well, I'll cut it back first to see if there's still Christmas tree worms on the other side. If so, I'm probably gonna shave as much as I could off. If it's one big piece of mat that can peel it off easily, I'll do that. If not, we'll just cut some chunks out. Initially, I thought maybe the Christmas tree worms could coexist with the Rasta Zoas, but the Rasta is a pretty dominating. It's basically growing in so dense that the Christmas tree worms could not poke between the polyps. And that's why we have to do what we do today. We're gonna make some new frags of the Rasta, which is great. I mean, Rasta is a beautiful Zoas. Happy to spread it around. Let's go ahead and get the rock out. I'm wearing gloves because I know there are like a lot of bristle worms in this tank.
Pull one out.
She kept trying to get me. Look at
That's my wish.
Oh, it's not too bad.
That's my Christmas wish.
It's hydros. You see this little clear anemone kind of guy? These are hydros. You don't want those if you have dwarf seahorses. There's a snail here. Let me just kind of knock it out. Okay, it's gone. So here is the Christmas tree worm rock. Let's go over here.
Can you say that again? Christmas tree, worm,
rock.
rock.
Emily's whole thing is that she keeps trying to get me to like pull open one of the Christmas tree worm just to see what they look like.
Yeah.
Don't get too close, by the way. The Zoas may squirt.
Oh.
And
shit.
they're not the.
Wait, so you're the one wearing the goggles?
I can't talk to it. It may spray my mouth. Okay, so let me take a look and see if I can just peel them off. I'm gonna close my mouth.
I thought you're gonna pull one out.
See, they're squirting.
Nope.
I can't talk. I may have to. Oh, this one is good. Oh. Punso. Oh. See that?
I didn't.
Just don't get too close.
Don't look at me now. Oh, I found this.
Well, you're really I need to take a picture of this. Where's my phone? Okay, this one came out
I think I go first person angle.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Look, there's Patrick, but Patrick gotta go. Patrick's not welcome. Here's another Patrick, also not welcome. There you go.
醫生，你嘅病人死咗啦！
死咗啊，都要做晒啊！呢個係
揾你割盲腸嘅慘。
死咗都要做晒啊！呢啲原則啊要。
即係病人死咗啦，條盲腸要繼續。哎，你咪整咗個 Christmas tree worm 嗰條
shit， 好似真係喎，係啊。
快啲拉佢出嚟啦！快啲拉佢出嚟啊，爸爸。
應該唔喺裏面，應該仲深啲。Alright, I'm happy with this. I think we reclaimed a lot of the space for the Christmas tree worm rock. I don't see a lot of I feel like a lot of these tubes are probably empty already, so I'm not gonna bother with them. Like these guys right here. They probably all migrated over here or just got choked out. So I clear out this buffer space. I think we should be okay. If not, we'll just pull the rock and do it again. But the good thing is that look at all these little Rasta frags right here. So let's put this back. I think we cleared out maybe at least a good half of it. Now is the second part, which is gluing down the frag.
仲有 second part 我嘅手軟啦
Larger ones, I'm gonna put it on these little rock rubles. Smaller ones, I'm gonna put them on a frag plug so I can grow them out and possibly trade them. Well, super glue is kind of messy right now, but I'm using the Polyp Lab one. But again, super glue for the most part is super glue. The key is actually Insta-set to allow me to instantly set the
Hey doctor,
set the glue.
if you keep talking, the patient will die.
Dab up here. I'm thinking something like this. So the Zoas will get some nice exposure to the lights, but at the same time, because they tend to grow towards the lights, they can grow upwards. So this is a really nice placement. A little bit of Insta-set to make sure that it's all good. A little bit at the bottom as well if needed. It's a little bit tricky because it's like a couple pieces. Like that. And then we'll again use Insta-set to set it. And I like to rinse it right away because instant once again heat up the glue really fast from what I understand, and it may harm the corals if there's no like rock rubles underneath it. And because this is so big, I'm gonna add another chunks in here. Okay, here's one on a frag plug. This is a nice one. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 polyps. Never really count polyps, but just kind of give a sense of how large these guys are. And here's a slightly smaller one. This one got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 polyp, but I think I may have enclosed one in super glue. All right, so here's what we got. We got a couple pieces of rock with a couple pieces of frags on each rock to help them spread out. I've noticed that if the zoas are in small cluster versus one big little mini colony like that, they spread a little bit faster. Makes sense because there's more of a perimeters versus like one big chunk of colony where the guys in the middle have nowhere to go, so it's relying on the polyps on the side to expand. So if I have like big chunks, I like to break it up a little bit to kind of spread them out, so I feel like they spread a little bit faster this way. I also have 2 little frag plugs like this. So in terms of corals, I don't usually do frag plugs unless I plan to trade them. But because I have a decent amount of Rastas, I feel like, okay, maybe I can spread it around locally. So I have made 2 little plugs of Rasta Zoas, even though Rasta is not something super special, but hey, it's cool to spread it around as well. So I'm gonna leave these frags actually in the mangrove tank in the same environment for a while before I move like 1 or 2 of them to the 135 just to heal up because they're used to the mangrove tank environment.
1 pair of pants later.
Alright guys, I just caught something really interesting happening and I figure I'll share with you, especially for those of you who are interested in red mangrove. So the interesting bit is right here. This brown casing is dried up, ready to fall off. You got a lot of things going on right here. Big leaves coming in, 2 new branches with like 2 new leaves in between, and then new spike right here as well. The spike is interesting. We can actually look down here for how it normally looks. It looks like this right here. It's almost like a growth spike. I'm not sure if that's a proper term, but I've just been calling it that. And the next step after that is here. You see kind of like the tip brown out and opens up. And from this point forward, we get something like this, where it kind of gives way to the new leaves. And in this case, 2 branches as well, which is super awesome. So we got a whole life cycle of the new spike here. We got like 1, 2, 3. I guess the mangrove is happy here. I'm super happy about it. I know not everybody's gonna be a fan of mangrove, but for me, it is just something that I'm super excited about. And when I'm excited about something, I would like to share it.
The next morning.
I just received this box from Daniel of New York. So Daniel and I have been talking online for quite a long time, but he has always talked about sending me corals when my new tank is up and running to celebrate. I always thought that we're eventually gonna meet at the shows. I'll be in the New York area, but of course the pandemic hits and it doesn't look like it's gonna end anytime soon. So finally Daniel said, why don't I just send this coral to you because it is ready to go. I have no idea at all what is in this box. So we're gonna find out together right now. All right guys, here we go. Dude, I thought just one. He sent a lot of stuff here. I was expecting 1 coral and we got like 3 containers full. This looks like some kind of, is it Clove polyp? Or some sort of psoas, pallies? I guess we'll find out when it opens up and see what it actually is. And secondly, man, you guys all just want me to go SPS, right? What is this? Nano hammer? Nano hammer? Maybe it's a different container, but that definitely looks like SPS. Looks like some kind of Mandipora digitata. Again, we'll have to see when it opens up. And finally, dude, is this what I think it is? It is pricey if it is. Is that a OG bounce? Are you kidding? Dude, are you serious? All right, I gotta hit up Daniel and see what is going on. Are you kidding me? Dude. Regardless of what it is, thank you so much, Daniel. I know we've been talking for a long time, but I really appreciate it. Now that I have the container to actually ship corals back and kind of have a know-how, I'm gonna ship something back and it should be good.
The next day.
Hey, what's up, reefers? We're doing some shady dealing in the parking lot today. We're meeting up with Lynn and CJ. For Lynn, I'm bringing some red macroalgae. We got this guy right here and also this guy right here. And for CJ, we got a frag of Rastas that I showed earlier in this video. For now, I have a couple fish I'm looking for, so we're gonna go into Fantastic and check it out first. All right, let's see what's happening here. She wrote a handwriting note. Are you serious, Lynn? You added more stuff again. How am I? All right, so it sounds like she included the gorgonia that has been around the wild mess for a long time. Hope it has a special place in your tank and also zoas for your growing zoa garden. Are you serious? Lynn, stop doing this, but thank you. Here's what I was expecting. The big ass froggy. So this is like a peach color frog spawn that was huge in her tank. Oh my god, look at this guy. This is not even when it opened. Wow. All right, nice. So this is the red mackerel that she mentioned as well, that she's gonna let me try some. Awesome. I think this is dragon tongue. This is a nice one. I've seen her post picture of this one. It's beautiful. Pink boobies. For reals, that's the name. Here you go, awesome, Wamas Gorgonian. Excellent, excellent. It looks almost like Corky Finger. Well, we'll see when it opens up to see what it looks like. Now this time, I also met up with CJ from Instagram. So I gave CJ one of those Rasta Zoa frag that I made earlier in this video, and he hooked me up with 2 red mushrooms. One of them came loose, but no problem. I have the mushroom dish that I can put the mushroom in and make sure it attach. The other one is, I believe, radioactive zoas, which is gonna be awesome in my new zoa garden. Excellent. Thank you, CJ.
More moments later.
Guys, it has been a while since the corals has been added to the tanks. I just want to show you how they look right now. First up is the OG bounce mushroom from Daniel in New York. Just look at this guy right here. Beautiful guy, isn't it? About 2 or so years ago, I tried a small one from Central Valley Reefer, but unfortunately, an emerald crab got to it, clipped it, and it just disappeared into the 45-gallon tank. So technically, this is my second attempt at a OG bounce mushroom. The mushroom seems really happy in this tank. I just can't wait for it to get much larger and also get more bubbles. And while we're here, take a look at the pink Japanese Nephias. This is really grown in and it looks really intricate. So I believe I will be sending a frag of that back to Daniel as well as some other goodies. And while we're looking at this tank, take a look at the Christmas tree worm rock as well. I've shaved away all the Rasta Zoas up here. Color used to be all white up top, and it's only been about a week and a half. The color is already coming back on the top of the porties. And let me show you something. I'm gonna run my hand over the rock, blocking the light. Ready? Here we go. Look at that. And let's see how long it takes before they come back out. Just look at that, how cool are these guys? Now at first I thought I lost most of the worms, but turns out they seem to be just kind of like hiding underneath the zoas. And they all started coming out. I was surprised about how many worms there actually are. I guess my question now is whether they actually reproduce within your aquarium, or you're pretty much stuck with like whatever you got when you first got this rock, because I still got a lot of these guys. So I'm not sure if these are the original numbers or if they actually multiplied. So let's do this one more time. I'm gonna run my hand over the rock. Ready? How cool is that? I'm gonna stop bothering them. All right, first let's check in and see how the rest of the corals are doing. First up, let's talk about the corals from Lynn. So the first coral from Lynn is this big frog spawn here. In fact, I'm not even sure if this is a frog spawn. A lot of people call these guys like octospawn, but honestly, I have no idea what exactly this is. I feel like it is a frog spawn, could be an octospawn, and some people mention that this may be a wolf frog spawn as well. I don't know. If you have any idea, please let me know. I would appreciate any positive ideas. The whole reason that Lynn gave me this coral is because it got a little bit too big in her tank and takes up too much room, and she knows that I got a pretty empty tank, so she's like, why don't you take this? At the moment, I'm kind of leaving the corals at the edge of the light so that it's not getting blasted by the light. I want the coral to get acclimated to the tank and to the light first, and then slowly move it towards a higher flow area. So staying here for now, seems really happy. We will see. The other coral that Lynn gave me is actually that zoa right there. It's kind of hard to see, but it is the bloodshot zoas. It's 2 polyps. It's really hard to see, but they're really beautiful and can't wait for them to acclimate and start growing. Coming over here, we got the coral with the funny name, pink boobies right there. It's some type of chalice. Also really beautiful. I figure I'll just kind of put it on this rock here so that's next to the jack-o'-lantern lepto. I guess it can be like a chalice and lepto kind of island right here. And finally, we got soft coral, a gorgonian. That's close to my heart because according to Lynn, this morph has been passed around in local reef club Wamas quite often, so I am honored to have a piece of this gorgonian in my reef tank. In terms of placement, I have that piece of gorgonian in a higher flow area because I got one pump here and one pump here. I figured that gorgonian probably appreciate extra flow. So I'm starting out there first. At the moment, I actually have the flow dialed back a little bit because I feel like it was kind of pushing the frog spawn a little bit much. So I may rearrange corals a little bit in order to turn the flow back up. But for now, this flow seems to work for most things in this tank. So we'll see how it goes. Next up, let's take a look at the corals that CJ hooked me up with. So he sent me home with 3 different mushrooms. First one's right there. It's a mushroom with green center. I feel like it's gonna look nice next to the green bounce right there. It's somewhat similar, but then at the same time it contrasts, so I may move that to this rock right here. The next one is what I'm really excited about. It's actually a red mushroom. I personally really like vibrant mushrooms similar to this red one right here. It's a pretty easy way to bring a nice splash of color to the sandbed next to a rock. Especially if you plan to have your rock kind of lined with zoas like this. I feel like having mushroom on the sandbed is another way to kind of like squeeze more color into that space. And I feel like a mushroom, in this particular case, I think the red one is fantastic. Now, one of the mushroom detached while he was driving over and had him in this little mushroom cage right here. Unfortunately, it kind of floated off that little frag plug I was trying to get him on. Let me see. Let me just blow a little bit, make sure it's still in there. Yep, still there. So I need to find some way to secure the mushroom onto that disc. I think my best out is to actually move that disc to a even lower flow area of the tank and just wait like a week or so until the mushroom attach a disc. We'll let that sit and we'll see how it goes. That is also a red mushroom that I really like. Now the outer corals that CJ hooked me up with is actually a classic. It is the radioactive dragon eye. I'm a big fan of the radioactive dragon eye as well as the regular dragon eye or the watermelon zoas, which is the orange center with the green skirt. The radioactive one has the mint green center with like a light green skirt. They seem to happen pretty frequently together. Now, of course, I know a lot of you guys watching this is huge Zoa fans and collect all these high-ends one, myself included. I just started my little collection, but I really appreciate some of these more affordable Zoa morph as well because they also bring to the table really nice color pop. And that is why I have the radioactive dragon eye right smack in the center because look at the contrast. I'm trying to consider how the Zoas look and plant like different contrasting ones against each other in terms of like color, texture, and size. And I feel like the radioactive dragon eye is gonna look perfect right there. So thank you, CJ. And finally, there's two corals that Daniel from New York sent me with. All right, first one I'm gonna talk about first is the one back here. It's kind of covered up by the gorgonians a little bit. I gotta talk about it first because I'm gonna forget its name. Hold on, it's the worldwide coral anacrow. Worldwide coral anacrow. It's kind of hard to see because it's kind of like blocked by the gorgonian from the front, but I'm counting on it to grow up with the interesting growth formation as well as the highlighted green. It's gonna look fantastic. I look up some pictures online and it is an interesting coral. The next one up is a coral that's acclimating to the tank right now. That is actually the top shelf aquatic rainbow clove coral. I have been eyeballing them for quite a long time, actually. Yeah, I think at least like 2 or 3 years ago. But somehow Daniel read my mind and be like, yo, here's some top shelf aquatic rainbow clove. Enjoy. And enjoy them I will. Thank you so much, sir. Alright guys, and those are all the updates for this week. It is a little bit scattered because so many things has happened this week. With the 135 gallon tank up and running and with the Mangrove tank just like hit the ground running and just taking off. There are a lot of things happening, and already I feel like I got another 2 weeks worth of content already waiting to be cut together. I know I have a tendency to ramble in my videos, but I'll try my best to keep them concise and just keep you up to speed in terms of like timeline. So there's no like 1 or 2 weeks lag. Whatever I release this week is relevant to the week of what happened to my tanks. With that said, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, leave a like, leave a comment on what you liked and what you want to see next week, and I'll see you next Sunday at 12:15. Make sure you're back. I have one strand of chados that hitchhiked from MPS Reverse. Would it be cool if I actually grow this one strand of chados out to a whole ball?